Hey, this is Tomas from okayisnotenough.com, helping you become the best version of yourself and create a more exciting and more fulfilling life. And it's the beginning of July 2019, which means it's time for my monthly goals update and see how far I've managed to get by the end of June. So as you probably know by now, every year I set for myself a long list of goals that I'm aiming to accomplish. And these goals are in various areas of my personal and professional life. They are aimed at improving my business, my coaching, my personal development, my health and fitness, my relationships, and other areas. And for the last couple of years, I've been sharing these goals publicly on my website and now here on YouTube as well, along with my monthly progress, why I set these goals, what challenges and struggles and difficulties I'm facing on the way, but as well the lessons that I've learned, the insights and the breakthroughs that I've gained. And I do that for a couple of reasons. The first one is that as a coach, I want to be a little bit of a role model for you guys and show you that great things are possible when you're consistent and when you're committed and when you really pursue your goals and give it everything. But I also want to show you that it's not always easy, that there are challenges and there are obstacles on the way, but you can make it through. Another reason is that I want to show you guys how I do it, how I go about it, so you may learn something from it, you may replicate that, maybe even you decide to set similar goals as I have, which would be great. And also from the messages that I'm getting from you guys, I know that it inspires you, that you follow my journey, and it really means a lot to me. I'm glad that it has this impact on you and that it motivates you, that inspires you to set your own goals and push a little harder and you're a little bit more committed. And there is another reason why I do that, is because when I share my goals on my website and me being a coach and wanting to be a little bit of a role model, I'm creating massive accountability thanks to you guys because you follow my journey. And accountability is so important because that makes me so much more committed and so much more disciplined, because I can tell you this, it's not always easy. I don't always feel like it. I'm not always motivated. Sometimes the goals are really difficult and I have to do things that are quite uncomfortable. But when I know that I'll be updating this at the end of the month, and I know that so many of you, hundreds of thousands of people will come and check out my progress, and I don't want to let you guys down, and also I don't want to let myself down. So me sharing these goals publicly creates massive accountability and allows me to push so much harder. Let's go and dive straight into it. And because I have so many goals, there are around 50 goals, this video is usually a little bit longer and I don't want to necessarily just fly over it. I want to share with you a little bit of an insight about these goals, why I set them, maybe what are some of the challenges and why it's going slower than I expected, or maybe what are some of the gains and insights that I didn't expect to get from pursuing or accomplishing these goals. As I mentioned at the beginning, I organize my goals into several categories, and the first one is business, which means all the goals in this category are simply aimed at helping me growing my coaching business and making sure that it's healthy, it's prosperous, and it's constantly evolving. So I have my goals here on my iPad because I can't remember all of them, so I'll read them to you and I'll always give you a little bit of an insight if there is something interesting to say about that particular goal. So the first goal is I'll easily create a follow-up sequence to my lifestyle scorecard by March 31st. The lifestyle scorecard is something you can take on my website and you answer a bunch of questions about your lifestyle, and it will generate a beautiful report that will give you scores for individual areas of your life, along with some useful tips about how you can work on these areas and how you can improvement. So it was meant to be done by March. I'm still working on it. It's very, very close. I would say I'm 79% done with that. However, it hasn't been yet accomplished. The next goal, or actually two goals are very similar, is I will easily hire an SEO expert by January 31st, and I will easily hire a developer by January 31st. So both of these goals have been accomplished in January. And the reason for that is because while I'm doing a lot of things in my business myself, there are certain tasks where I'm better off outsourcing it to someone who can do it much better, much more effectively, and much quicker than me. I could probably figure out how to do it, but it would take too much time. So for me, it's time and even financially much more efficient to just delegate it to someone. So both of these goals have been accomplished in January. The next goal is I will easily grow my mailing list to 3,000 subscribers by December 31st. So I'm currently on 1,529. This year I've grown just by about 300 subscribers. It grows way slower than I thought. As I usually mention, the whole GDPR thing made things a little bit more difficult. But I have good traffic to my website, so perhaps if I put maybe a few more incentives, maybe some more resources that people can download in exchange for an email, that would probably increase the growth of the mailing list. But I think 3,000, growing by like doubling my mailing list, considering that I've only grown by 300, it's pretty ambitious goal. I'll see how far I get, but my estimate is that even 2,000 would be quite good success. The next goal is I'll easily reach monthly website traffic of 4,000 visitors by December 31st. So my June traffic was the best one this year, and it was 3,282 visitors. Really great growth, grew almost by 1,000 from May to June. And I had a quick look at the beginning of July, and it's even better. So I'm really optimistic about the amount of traffic. The reason for that is I'm being much more active with my content. I'm producing much more content. I'm sharing it through all possible distribution channels that I can think of. And of course, some of the traffic is coming through my direct marketing and ads and things like that. But I'm really pleased with the growth, and I think maybe even in July or August, I might be able to reach 4,000 visitors. And the last goal in the business category is I'll easily complete a copywriting course by December 31st. This goal was completed in May, so that's all done. The next category is coaching, which means all the goals in this category are about my coaching, practice, my clients, and so on. So the first goal is I'll easily have 150 initial consultations by December 31st. So the initial consultations is something that it's a conversation, I actually call it discovery session, before someone decides to work with me and before I agree to work with someone. We have this initial consultation or discovery session where we talk about their life, where we talk about what they want to get out of coaching. And it's time for both of us to assess whether I would be the right coach for them and whether they would be the right client for me. It's very important for me to go through that, and for the client, I want it to be completely clear at the end whether we would be the right match for coaching. So far, I have reached 99, which means ahead of the target by actually nearly 50%, which is great. Obviously, the number of clients. For someone to become a client, we have to go through this discovery session, and there's a certain conversion ratio that I have. So I need to make sure that I have enough of these initial consultations, which depends on my marketing, to ensure that I have enough clients in my business. The next goal is I will easily work with 40 new inspiring clients by December 31st. So by the end of June, I've acquired 20 new clients this year, which I'm perfectly on track. And there's one thing that is really important for me, which means inspiring clients. Luckily, I'm in a position now when I can choose who I work with. When I started coaching 6 years ago, I would work with anyone and everyone, people who were hardly interested in coaching, people who are not committed. Whereas now I'm in a position where I can choose, and I do choose. I don't work with anybody. I only work with people who I know I can help, and we can have great progress, assuming that they will apply themselves to their best ability. And I need to be inspired by the people I'm talking to, by my clients, because we often work together for months and months and months. With some of my clients, we've been working together for 3 or 4 years, which is a little bit of an extreme. The typical, I would say, duration is around 6 months, but it's a lot of time together. It's a lot of conversations, many sessions. So I want to look forward to it. I want to be inspired by those people. And I must say that my clients are really, really inspiring me. With that said, I'm right on track with this goal. Next goal is I will easily run 500 coaching sessions by December 31st. So I figured out how many coaching sessions I need to have to make sure that I have a good, thriving practice, but I also determine what's the ceiling for me of how many sessions I want to have in a day or in a week to not be drained, to not be overwhelmed. Because when I started coaching, I had sometimes ridiculous number of sessions in one day, and it can be very draining. And so now I only have 3 sessions maximum in a day, because my sessions are easily around an hour and a half, sometimes longer. So that's where the target of 500 is something I determine as the healthy number. I'm currently on 214 coaching sessions, so I'm a little bit behind, but I was also on holidays for a little bit, which created nearly 3 weeks, 4 weeks gap. So that made a little bit of an impact. But I'm pretty confident that I'll be able to reach the 500 sessions this year. Next goal is I'll easily run at least 1 live case study by December 31st. So what this means is that I want to choose at least one person who I'll be working with, I'll be coaching them, and I will create or designate a special page for them on my website. And I will want them to be regularly blogging almost about their progress, sharing their journey, sharing their progress, because I want to show people as transparently as possible what coaching is like, what results are possible with coaching. And when it's coming from me, people may think I'm biased, or people may take it with a pinch of salt, but I want that to come from a client, for someone who it's not me, so it will have a lot more credibility, and I want to show you guys what's possible with coaching. So I have a couple of people in my mind that I would love to do this live case study with. They don't know yet, but let's see. I'm really, really excited about this. So this goal hasn't been accomplished yet, but it's in the making. And the last goal from this coaching category is I will easily reflect on my coaching sessions 200 times by December 31st. So the reason why I set this goal is because reflection is one of the best ways to learn and improve. Because it's so easy to just keep running ahead and keep looking forwards and potentially be making the same mistakes. Because if we don't look back about what we've done and think about, was there a way we could have done it better? Could I learn something from the mistakes or from the successes? We are missing out on so much opportunity if we don't do this reflection. And as a coach, I want to constantly be getting better. I'm sober-minded enough to realize that I'm not the best coach in the world, and even if I was, it doesn't mean that I would be flawless. As a coach, there is always room for improvement, and I find it super exciting. So I set this goal that I wanted to reflect 200 times on my coaching sessions, so nearly half of my coaching sessions, and think about what could I have done better? How could I have served better my client? What other questions could I have asked? What other suggestions I may have made? Because it will help me be better next time with them. And I already can see that I've gained so much from these reflections. So far I have done 126 of these reflections. So I'm well on track. I'm actually ahead a little bit. And you know, if you want to learn faster, improve faster, whether it's your personal life, professional life, you know, in your job, maybe your fitness, maybe in your relationship, take a little bit of time every now and then and reflect, maybe on the past week, on the past presentation that you've given about, you know, your last date or whatever it might be that you want to improve with, and think about what could you do better next time. And just by asking yourself this question, you'll be amazed how many new insights you discover. The next category is profile, which means all the goals in this category are aimed to help me get more visibility, put me a little bit more out there, and help me raise my profile, because it's super important for my business and for me as a coach. But profile or brand is really super important for any business. So the first goal is I'll easily reach 30,000 followers on my Instagram by December 31st. So I'm currently on 20,528. I grew by about 5,000 this year in the first 6 months. I estimated this goal based on my growth last year. And there are several things that happened. In January, something happened with Instagram has done something with the algorithm where I started getting so much less exposure, much fewer likes, even though I haven't really changed anything. And I noticed again, just at the beginning of July or end of June, there's been another shift where I noticed there's a dip again in my reach or with my posts. On my Instagram, I'm getting a little fewer likes and less exposure. I'm not aware of changing anything. I'm not aware of doing anything that would be frowned upon. I did some research, and it seems like many people on Instagram are experiencing the same thing. I'm not sure what it is, but the growth has slowed down significantly. I still think it's possible. I could have few viral posts and that could do some magic. But at the moment, I'm on 20,528, so about 9,500 away from my targets. The next goal is I will easily reach 20,000 followers on my LinkedIn by December 31st. I'm experiencing amazing growth, contrary to Instagram, amazing growth on my LinkedIn. I grew by nearly 1,000 since May. So I'm currently on 18,633 followers on LinkedIn. And I'm a little bit more active. I'm engaging with people. And so the growth is great. I'm very, very confident that I will hit the target probably in July. I'm quite selective who I follow back and who I follow, because unlike Instagram, for example, LinkedIn has a cap at 35,000 that you can't follow any more people than that. So I'm selective about who I follow and who I connect with quality over quantity. But great growth, and I'm super confident that I will reach this goal. Next goal is I will easily reach 1,000 YouTube subscribers by December 31st. So this goal always makes me laugh. I naively set this ambitious goal of 1,000 subscribers, where I really started with about 15. Now the good news is that I'm on 169, 169 subscribers. You see, I could easily cut some corners, and there are ways to pay for subscribers and things like that. But what's the point? I want to do this genuinely. I want to do it right, because even if I bought, I don't know, 10,000 subscribers, what would be the point? Because these people wouldn't be interested in my content. So 169, I don't think I'll be able to reach 1,000 again unless I hit some really viral piece of content. With that said, if you haven't subscribed yet to my channel, press that little button there and hey, subscribe. I'm creating a lot of content, great new stuff is coming. I will make sure that it's quality stuff. It's for you, to help you grow, become the best version of yourself. So I'm very far from my target. We'll see what happens. Next goal is I will easily be featured in 5 podcasts by December 31st. So far I've been featured on 3 podcasts, and the reason why I do that is because, first of all, I love it. I love being on podcasts. I love being interviewed. It's like being on a radio, and I always love to share, everything I know. If it helps the followers, if people enjoy it, then I enjoy the process and people enjoy the content. It's a win-win situation. So far on 3, so I'm well on track with this. I actually have a couple more invitations that we're just finalizing some dates. So I'm very confident that I will be featured on 5 podcasts. And plus, it's great because usually these podcasts have fairly good audience, and it helps me get out there to reach new audience that I normally wouldn't. Podcast is a brilliant thing. If only I had more time to start my own podcast, I would definitely do it. But I'm already spinning so many plates that I don't think it's physically possible for me to start my own podcast. Next goal is I will easily be featured in a magazine by December 31st. So with this goal, I'm just realizing I haven't specified whether it's a physical magazine or whether it would be online magazine. I've partnered a couple of months ago with a big brand, and they actually featured me in several online publications, not in a physical to my best knowledge. So I need to decide whether these would qualify as a magazine, or if I need to push a little bit more of the PR and actually be featured in a physical copy of a magazine. But so far, I will call it as not accomplished. Next goal is I will easily write my book by July 31st. So, as I mentioned before, I pretty much wrote my book last year. I wrote 35,000 words, I would say maybe 80% of it, but I realized that I wanted to change the angle of how the book is positioned, how it's structured, and also my thinking and my business has evolved a little bit since then. So I'm starting all over again. I'm repurposing a little bit of the content. Now I had to deal with a bunch of other things, so I haven't made as much progress. So I'm very, very behind with this. Is it possible to write the whole thing this month? Most likely not. I'm currently on 3,500 words, so I probably need another 35,000, 40,000 words. If I write 1,000 words a day, no, I don't think it's possible, considering how much time I have. But maybe by the end of August, that might be doable. But at the moment, I'm working on it. It hasn't been accomplished yet. Now, the next goal related to that is I'll easily publish my book by September 30th this year. Obviously, it hasn't been accomplished. It's all dependent on me writing the book, finishing writing the book, and there are many other processes that the book has to go through: editing, proofreading, a layout, or the typeset, and then putting it through the actual print. It's a long process. It would probably take a couple of months after. And Also, it's pretty expensive. It will be several £1,000s. I'm ready for that, but the book is not ready yet. So that goal hasn't been accomplished yet. And the last goal in this category is I'll easily speak on stage at least 6 times by December 31st. So far I have spoken on stage 4 times. So 2 more times, I'm well on track with that. I actually have 2 kind of talks or speeches lined up. So that shouldn't be a problem at all to accomplish this goal. The next category of my goals is, I call it value, which means all the goals in this category are about me sharing what I know, giving back, just sharing value and contributing to the world. And the first goal is I'll easily record 52 video blogs or YouTube videos by December 31st. So I'm currently on 20, so a little bit behind. I should be on 26. But again, at the beginning of the year, and I went away, so fell behind a little bit. With that said, in May alone, I published 5. So I'm very confident I will catch up with everything. It's a very, very new experience for me, recording these videos. I'm still getting used to it, still getting used to the camera. But what I love about that is the learning with every single episode that I record, that I'm editing, that I'm uploading online. I'm learning something new. And if you go back to watch some of my first videos, you'll see the progress, and I'm actually loving it. I'm really enjoying this. It's very time consuming. For me, it's about 5 hours to put together from the beginning to the end one piece of content, writing the script, writing the content, recording it, editing it, uploading it, finalizing everything, putting it through my newsletter. It's very, very time consuming, but I'm enjoying it, and I hope you enjoy it as well because of all the work that I'm putting in. But what's more important is that I actually believe that the number of steps we need to take to get much better at something, I mean substantial steps, is 100. And the reason why I set this goal is because I wanted to create more content online. I wanted to get much better at it, and I knew that I need to do at least 50 videos, or let me put it this way, if I knew that if I make 50 videos or 52 videos this year, I will be so much better. And I'm so looking forward to the last video of this year and compare the quality of everything, editing, production, and so on, with the first one. And I know that if I do 52 videos next year again, it will get even better. I'm still learning, but what's in this for you is that, hey, commit to something and give it a year, give it a bunch of months. Make sure that you do many repetitions, many steps, and you're learning through every single step, and you'll be amazed how much you will improve. So 20 videos so far this year, a little bit behind, but I'm pretty sure I will catch up. Next goal, very related to that, is I'll easily publish 52 articles by December 31st, as well on 20. My articles are pretty much the same as the videos, so the content is the same, so these things go hand in hand. So a little bit behind, but I will surely catch up. Next goal is I will easily launch my Unshakable Self-Discipline program by December 31st. I'm super excited about this project because I've been coaching for over 6 years now, and I have coached around 1,000 people, and I've had around 300 long-term clients. And one thing that I can see is causing people to not accomplish things or to not pursue their goals is lack of self-discipline. Because people try things for a little bit, like creating videos, they would try 2, it doesn't really work, and people quit. When it gets difficult, when it gets challenging, when there are some failures and embarrassing moments maybe, people quit. They're not disciplined. So what I'm doing is I'm creating a group online coaching program where I teach people all the best practices that I've used on myself. I know it's not just stuff that I'm learning somewhere and I'm just parroting it to you. These are all the practices that I've used on myself. That it's coming from experience, and I've turned myself into someone who is extremely self-disciplined from someone, 10 years ago who I was struggling with self-discipline so much. And so I'm also making it a group coaching program, because if I can have many people on that training at any given time, I can make it much more affordable. So I want to help as many people as possible with this self-discipline, and I'm super pumped about it. Guys, if you knew what's going to be part of the program, it would blow your mind. And so it's in the making, very time consuming. I would say I'm probably 50% done with it. So still, I'm thinking maybe a couple of months to put it together properly. Because when I'm putting something out there, I want to make sure that it's great and that it's going to work. So not finished yet with this goal or completed. Next goal is very similar to this. I'll easily launch my Stop Caring What People Think of You group coaching program by December 31st. If self-discipline is a problem, then the second biggest problem that holds people back is the fear of what people think of them, what other people think of them. And it can be so paralyzing. I often talk to people who they have all the pieces of the puzzle and they're scared to put it all together because of what would people say. What if someone doesn't like it? What if someone says, who are you to try something like that? Who are you to live a life like this? Who are you to have a goal like that? And people are really scared of that. So that would be my next program. I haven't even started working on this, considering how much time my self-discipline program is taking. I'm afraid I won't be able to launch this program this year. I totally underestimated how much work it would take, but we shall see. And a final goal of this value category is that I'll easily raise £5,000 for Children with Cancer charity by May 31st. So I did this fundraising as part of me running the London Marathon. Children with Cancer granted me a place in London Marathon, and I was super happy and super excited and grateful to be raising money for them, for children with cancer. What a great cause. Hey, I work with adults, but I think it's so unfair when a child doesn't get a chance, when someone doesn't get a chance to grow up and be an adult and pursue their goals, pursue their dreams, make their life the way they want it. And so that's why I chose this charity. I have raised £2,176.50. So I haven't reached my target. Nonetheless, I'm so grateful to everyone who donated and supported me in this fundraising. Many, many people, I was so humbled and touched. Really, really grateful. So thank you, everybody, if you supported me here publicly. I'm thanking you. So that was the value category. Now the next category is health and fitness. Self-explanatory. All the goals in this category are aimed on my health and fitness and my intention to improve it and stay healthy, be as fit as possible. And there are a lot of goals, so let's go straight into it. The first one is I will easily complete 23andMe DNA genetic testing and analysis by December 31st. And this goal has been accomplished in January. Hey guys, look up 23andMe, their website, and read about what they do. Amazing stuff. You can get your DNA analyzed just through a mouse swab. You send it over, they analyze it, and they look into whether you have some genetic predispositions to some diseases, some illnesses. Thank God I got nothing, but it's good to be aware of that. But also, the really exciting part is that they do your ancestry analysis. So they look into where your genes are sort of coming from geographically. And you'll be amazed. Some people find out that their ancestry is going over to different continents and so on. My ancestry is all around Europe, so I'm 100% European. But it was interesting to learn about that, and you can actually connect with your distant relatives, with your fourth cousins and things like that, which I think I have around 76 people who also have done the test, and I am genetically related to them to fairly distant degree, but hey, it may be interesting to connect with them and see what they like. Next goal is I will easily complete a food intolerance test. I haven't done that yet. The reason why I want to do this test because I feel after some meals my digestion is not entirely happy. I know that I'm pretty much lactose intolerant. I know that flour, wheat is upsetting my digestive system as well. So I want to do this test and see if there's anything else, whether maybe it's me, maybe it's psychological, who knows. But I want to do this intolerance test and just to get to know myself, get to know my body a little bit more. And if there is some intolerance, I don't want to be putting that into my system, put into my body, then my body overreacts to it. I want to treat my body as a temple and give it what it needs in terms of nutrition and not feeding with something it doesn't like. Next goal is I will easily complete 24 fasts or green days, which means day where I'm on a raw food diet. Simply means I only eat raw fruit or vegetable. And 24 days before December 31st. So far I've done 10, so I'm a little bit behind, not much. Many of them have been actually 24-hour fasts. I usually fast from breakfast to breakfast. It's good for your body. I drink plenty of water, green tea, just to sort of cleanse my body. It's a very good self-discipline training. You need to make sure that the days when you're fasting, you're not overly physically active. I'm finding this a little bit challenging because, as you find out later, I'm doing a lot of working out lately, and doing an hour-long workout, and then have a full day of coaching, not eating anything at all. I find my hands a little bit shaky later in the afternoon. So on many of the days, I'm choosing to just have an apple, actually like cucumbers and tomatoes. Strangely, some people hate these things. I love both cucumbers and tomatoes. I think they're delicious. So I'm currently on 10, a little bit behind, not a big tragedy. I will easily be able to catch up with that. Next goal is I will easily be at 16% body fat by December 31st. So I started on 24.3 this year. The reason why I chose to have body fat as target is because last year I was aiming at weight. And I started working out a lot, running a lot. And I was getting fitter, but my weight was not going down. I was definitely losing fat, but my weight was around the same. Because when you're putting on muscles, muscles are much heavier than fat. So you may be putting a little bit of muscle and losing quite a bit of fat, but your weight may be actually very the same or wouldn't change much. So this year I've changed to target body fat. I have one of those scales that measures your body fat and body composition. It's accurate to a degree. I'm a little bit skeptical, but hey, we'll see. So I'm currently on 22.6%. I lost about 2% of body fat. It's not going as fast as I thought it would, especially considering that I was going through the marathon training, which was insane amount of running, which again you will hear a little bit later. I was running 5 days a week for 4 months, and many of these runs were at least an hour, some of them 2 hours, some of them 3 or 3.5 hours. So with all that running, and I'm not aware of overeating or compensating too much with food, I actually haven't lost much weight, which was very surprising to me. I was worried that I was going to lose too much, which didn't happen. But hey, look, I think weight loss it's very simple. It's calories in, calories out. So somehow some food must have sneaked in. Maybe I was what's it called? Sleepwalking, almost at moonwalking. I can't do that. But maybe I was sleepwalking and raiding my fridge and cupboards, who knows. So I'm currently 22.6, a little bit slower than I thought I would be progressing, but I'm tweaking my diet constantly, so let's hope. I shouldn't say let's hope. I'm committed and determined to hit my 16% body fat, assuming it will look good and I will feel good. I was on 16% body fat many years ago. I was pretty cut, pretty trim. I will push it to the 16% as long as I feel good about it. But I should be fine. Next goal is I will easily work out 200 times by December 31st. So by the end of June, I have altogether completed 195 workouts. In June alone, 30 workouts, total time 22 hours, 23 seconds, total calories 12,836. So if you do the maths quickly in your head, there are some days where I actually work out twice a day, especially when I was training for my marathon. I did my strength workout and then I went for running. I went for a run, and even now, today I actually did 3 separate workouts. I really enjoy working out. Lately I'm using the Nike app, the strength trainings, really enjoy it, and I do a fair bit of running still. So 195 by the end of June. I've already reached 200 workouts, but that's an update for July. Next goal is I will easily complete a marathon training program by April 28th. So I was running the marathon on the 28th of April 2019. And as I mentioned, the training program that I went through was 4 months long, was 75 runs, 5 runs a week. Some of the runs were insane, were 3.5 hours long, 35K. I've done it all. I went through the whole thing. I can tell you this, the training alone was harder than the marathon itself. So if you feel like you would love to test whether you can run marathon, if you go through marathon training, not only that you can run marathon, but you have done much bigger challenge. So I've completed that goal. Next goal was I will easily complete Virgin Money London Marathon in sub 4 hours by April 28th. So I finished the London Marathon, but my time was 4 hours, 2 minutes and 4 seconds. So close. But I can tell you this, I am so proud of that time because I gave it everything. I haven't walked a single bit throughout the whole marathon. It was going great for the first 35 kilometers. Then it became really tough. You hit the wall, all of a sudden the energy drains out of you. My muscles started cramping, and there was this enormous battle, psychological battle going on in my head. I've actually done a blog, a video dedicated to that journey of London Marathon. I will either share it in a comment, or maybe you can click here on that little thing that will take you right there. And it was incredible, and it was an incredible experience. I haven't reached sub 4 hours. 4 hours, 2 minutes is still a pretty good time. It's not sub 4 hours though. I'm so proud of that time, and I'm so proud that I didn't give in into the pain, into my excuses, I suppose, because my mind and my body was screaming, stop, walk for a little bit, take a break. And I didn't give in into it, and I just kept pushing. I have some photos from the finish line where there are a bunch of photographers, and they were taking photos of everyone who was running. And if you saw my face, my grimace, and how much pain I was in, you would understand. So haven't reached sub 4 hours, but it was very close. I'm still not only proud about that time, but I'm in peace. I'm very content there, with that result, because I know I gave it my all. I left it all on the trail. Next goal is I will easily run 200 kilometers in 1 month by December 31st. That was completed by January simply because of the marathon training program. Next goal was I will easily run 1,000 kilometers by December 31st. So I had the goal to run 1,000 kilometers in the whole year. I actually completed it in May. Again, because of the marathon training and the marathon itself, so much running. So that goal is complete as well. Another super exciting goal for me now, I will easily run 5 kilometers under 20 minutes by December 31st. So this is a fresh June update. I did 5 kilometers in 19 minutes and 53 seconds. I improved a lot in the last couple of months. I shaved off about a minute and a half, which is quite a lot. I've done really good interval training that helped so much. But with all honesty, I can tell you this, for the last 500 meters of those 5K, I thought I was going to faint. I was in so much pain, and I was so exhausted. But again, I didn't give in. I pushed myself, and I hated running so much for the few minutes right after that. I really touched the bottom there, but it's done. Hey, the goal is complete. Next to on to the next one, which is I'll easily run 10 kilometers under 42 minutes by December 31st. So that's my next running challenge. I haven't even tested it yet, how fast or how quickly I can run 10K. I know I can do fairly comfortably 50 or even 45 minutes. I have a feeling that the 42 minutes will be okay, that it's not going to be a massive challenge. I will need to do some training for that, but I'm pretty confident it's doable. Next goal, I will easily do 100 push-ups in one go by December 31st. So I neglected this goal a little bit in the last several months, simply because I've done all the other workouts. There are only so many plates I can spin. So far, my best was 60 push-ups in one go. I've now, in July, I've committed to be doing my max attempt every single day. So if you follow me on Instagram, I'm actually sharing daily update about that. I'm pretty confident that I can do it with just focused training. Next goal is I will easily do 20 pull-ups in one go by December 31st. I'm currently on 15. It fluctuates between 13 and 15, depending on if I have a good day. 20 doesn't sound like many, but I don't know many people who can do 20. I thought it would be totally doable. And it actually seems to be quite challenging. I know people who are pretty fit and they can't do 20. So maybe I was being overly ambitious. Nonetheless, I'm committed to give it my absolute all. And I'm still positive that it's doable, that it's possible to accomplish that by the end of the year. Next goal is I'll easily be able to plank for, for 10 minutes by December 31st. So there I think I was being overly ambitious. I have hit a little bit of a plateau at around just below 3 minutes. Now I fluctuate between 2.5 and 3 minutes. It's very challenging. However, there must be some trick to it. Or when I break through this plateau, because there are people who can plank for half an hour, for an hour. The records of the record in the world for the longest plank is, I think, 8 hours or something like that. Insane. So if someone can do that, there must be some trick to it. Or they just build this enormous strength that once you're there, you can just plank for, I don't know, as long as you're willing to. I'm pretty far from it yet. We'll see how that's gonna go. Next goal is I'll easily continue with martial arts training. So I've been fairly consistent. There were a couple of months break that I took simply because of the marathon training. I do kickboxing, so clearly, obviously, that involves a lot of kicking. And I was worried that I would twist my ankle, I don't know, hit the pads in a wrong way, and I would injure my leg. And putting all that training in for the marathon, I didn't want to jeopardize that, so I put it on hold then. But then I picked up again in May and June. Now I'm having a little bit of a problem with my wrists. It seems like there's a little bit of an injury. I probably need to have it x-rayed and see what's going on. There's like a specific angle of when I hit the pads. So it's really painful. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Need to get it checked. Hopefully I can continue with that. And the last goal in the health and fitness category is I'll easily take on swimming classes by December 31st. Haven't done any progress with that yet. There'll be another goal that I will add. I decided to take on running training. I want to improve my technique. One, to be faster runner. Secondly, to have the proper running technique to avoid any injury. And I'm aware that I can definitely make an improvement. The goal is not on my list yet, but I'll be adding it in the next few days. Next category is personal development. So all these goals in this category are purely focused on my personal growth. And the first goal is I will easily complete 365 meditations this year by December 31st. So I'm currently on 165, so I'm a little bit behind. But I'm picking it up again. I'm meditating even twice a day. My meditations are usually around 10 minutes long. I don't meditate for an hour or even half an hour unless I feel like I really need it, because it doesn't work for me that well. I find it much more effective to break it down if I need to for 2 or 3 shorter meditations in a day. And meditation is great, actually, because I fell behind a little bit with these meditations. I could see how I lost the ability a little bit. And when I meditate, I'm much more grounded. I can think more clearly, and I can concentrate better. So for my meditations, I'm using Muse, which is a headband. You can actually see the box from here. It's like a headband with sensors, and it's connected to your phone, and it's measuring your heart rate, your breathing, your brain activity, and it's all recorded in the app. And it actually gives you biofeedback, like a real-time biofeedback, meaning that depending on how busy your mind is, you hear different sounds. And usually the calmer your mind is, the deeper you meditate, the quieter the environment, that you can hear birds and things like that when you're meditating well. And when your mind is busy, when you start thinking about things, there's a lot of like street noise, depending on the environment that you choose. But really love that device. It's a little bit pricey, couple £100, but so well spent money for me at least. Which actually is linked to the next goal. I will easily buy Muse mind and body meditation device by December 31st. That's been accomplished in March, and that's the headband that I've described. Really great. Hey, check it out, guys. It's called Muse. They actually have a standalone app as well for meditation. So now they have guided meditations for all kinds of purposes, for stress, for happiness, even for entrepreneurship, which I really like. So that goal has been accomplished. Next big goal is that I will easily finish 24 books by December 31st, which means audiobooks or actually physical books. I'm currently on 11, so I'm one book behind, but I have 5 books that I'm reading at the moment. One I'm almost finished, so I'm tiny bit behind, but reading or listening to audiobooks is so important to me, and honestly, it should be important to you as well. Instead of feeding your mind with nonsense in social media and news and TV shows and reality shows and all that crap, pick up a book and read about something that you're interested in or something that you're curious about. Read biographies of successful people to get an idea of what it takes to be successful. Read about Arnold Schwarzenegger, or there are plenty of athletes and politicians and movie stars and entrepreneurs. So many people that you can read about their journey and learn from. I find it incredibly inspiring. 95% of the books that I read are factual books, non-fiction. There are only a couple of fiction ones that I've read. I just prefer information like this. And so I'm 11 books in, pretty much on track. And I'm very confident that I'll be able to accomplish this goal this year. Similar goal is I'll easily read at least 2 books on mindfulness. The reason for that is I wanted to deepen my understanding of mindfulness and meditation and so on. So I've completed 2 books. The first one was Buddhism for Busy People. Phenomenal book. Highly encourage you to read it. I actually listened to audiobooks when I was doing all my marathon training runs, and it's such a good book, so interesting, so simple, but yet so insightful. Buddhism for Busy People. And the next book was Mindfulness. That's the title of the book. A really great book as well. Next goal is I'll easily eliminate 6 bad habits or establish 6 new positive habits. So far I've done 3. One in January replaced coffee with green tea. In April I was meditating daily actually for a couple of months. Now it's slipped behind a little bit, but I'm picking it up again. And in June was going back to strength training at least 3 times a week. So I'm on track with this. This month is big for me on establishing new goals. Meditation, planking, push-ups, and I'm writing for 1 hour every day. So there'll be good progress in July on those goals, on this goal. Next goal, I will easily make 100 journal entries and reflections by December 31st. I'm currently on 87, so I'm nearly there. Journaling is so powerful and so important. When I got into personal development and I discovered journaling, I was journaling so much, and it allowed me to really figure out who I was, what I like, what I don't like, just what my values are, and get to know myself. And knowing yourself is a cornerstone to happiness and a cornerstone to confidence and simplicity and groundedness, because you have your own moral compass. You don't have to outsource it into opinions of other people. So journaling is so important, and I recommend it to many of my clients to do that, just to figure out if you have some questions about your future, about your past, about your present, current situation and challenges that you're facing. Sit down with a pen and paper, write your question on the top, whatever is going through your mind, whatever you're trying to figure out, and just write. Don't worry about grammar, don't worry about it looking pretty, don't worry about that someone will read it. You can rip it apart after, you can burn it. But when you write, something magical happens is that your mind just is focused on the thoughts. Because if you're just thinking, your mind can go in a million different directions at the same time. And it's so easy to get distracted. But when you're writing, all of a sudden you're so concentrated, you're so focused, and there's continuum to the thought. So journaling is massive. I actually written an article, recorded a video, how to journal for personal development. So check it out. It's basically, there's a description of how to do it and what kind of questions you can ask and how you should structure your journal and so on. So I'm nearly done with this goal. Next goal is I will easily spend at least 1 hour every Sunday planning and reflecting by December 31st. So this is something I've been doing maybe for the last 10 years. And actually recently I discovered in my Apple Notes my plans from 2012, I think. So 7 years ago. It was just, actually it's more, 2009, when I was, I think, starting with uni, and I was planning my future and things like that, and it was quite it was quite nostalgic, but quite almost cute, the way I was thinking, and I had no idea that I would be where I am today. And so, you see, failing to plan is planning to fail. And it's actually was interesting that, not going so far back, but even like from 2012, when I was starting my coaching business, I was planning for many things that are already in my life now. And every Sunday, I love this kind of sitting down for half an hour with usually I have a cup of tea for some reason. That's my planning beverage. And I just reflect on the past week, see what I could have done better, see what was really good and why, and I plan for the next week. And I set goals. Sometimes I plan for the month, sometimes I plan for the year, sometimes I plan for the future, but I plan. And I'm checking in with my plan. Am I on track? Because if you don't have a direction, you may end up somewhere where you don't even want to go. So I'm totally on track with this goal. And the last goal in this category is I'll easily watch 50 TED Talks by December 31st. If you're not familiar with TED Talks, I highly encourage you to just Google TED.com. And TED is a global organization where several times a year, the brightest, most interesting minds can get together, and they share stage where they present the latest findings, insights from science, from sometimes politics, cultural stuff. It could be about anything. It's just, their tagline is ideas worth spreading. So every single one of those talks is fascinating. And I wanted to have a goal. I wanted to watch these. So I set it as a goal to watch at least 50 of them this year. So a couple of months. I'm already done with this goal. I've accomplished that in June, 52. I continue watching because it's so fascinating. If you're into geography, sports, science, politics, anything, literature, music, you can find people, the top people from the industry, sharing their most interesting ideas. And it's fascinating. And the final category is relationships. It's a short category because I'm only sharing certain parts, just certain goals from this category. But hey, relationships in our lives are extremely important, and they need just as much attention as anything else. So if you want to make sure that your relationships are healthy, they're thriving, you need to work on them. And if you want to work on something, set some goals, have a plan. And so first goal is I will easily be in contact with my family every month. I live in the UK, in London. My family are all back home in Czech Republic. And I don't see them very often, maybe once a year. And so I want to make sure that we stay in touch, we stay in contact, we're all on great terms. And I want to reach out through some means or communicate with them at least once a month. With many of them, I communicate much more frequently than that, but I want to make sure that there is at least one touch point. So I'm on track with that goal. And the final goal is I will easily have a date night with my girlfriend at least twice a month. So if you're in a relationship and you've been together for some time, for a few years, you know that it can get very comfortable and we can easily become complacent, just take each other for granted. And if you don't want your relationship to go stale, then you need to work on that. You need to do the things that made it exciting at the beginning, right? Going out on dates and things like that. So that's why we have this goal, at least twice a month, to kind of dress up and go for dinner or the cinema or somewhere. Because it's important to maintain the spark in the relationship. And I'm definitely on track with that goal. We actually go out usually more frequently than that. So that's it, guys. That's all my goals. And I am grateful that you stayed with me throughout the whole video. I know that these videos are long because I just have so many goals for myself, but I hope that you're getting something out of it, that you find it interesting, maybe inspiring, motivating. Maybe you think, hey, this is a good goal, maybe I should set that for myself as well. Totally, please do. If I can inspire you, then I've succeeded. If it changes your mind, shifts your minds a little bit, then it's all been worthwhile, because I'm doing this for you guys. I don't necessarily need anyone to know about my goals, even though it actually provides that accountability. But I'm not doing this to brag or anything. With some of those goals, I'm behind, right? So there's not always much to brag about. But I hope that inspires you. So if you haven't subscribed yet and you've been with me until now, so hey, why don't you press that little button there and subscribe so you get an update about the next videos. As always, thank you for watching. I'm really grateful for your attention, and I hope to see you on the next video.